Fernando. Welcome to class.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Excellent.
Excellent. Good. So welcome to class. This is called At the Farmer's Market. And we're going to learn about different fruits and vegetables, about the tradition of farmers markets in the U.S., how to barter at farmers markets, and we're going to watch a little video about why people like farmers markets so much. Okay?
Nice.
So do you know what a farmers market is?
Well, it's a place where you can go and buy your fruits and vegetables. It's different from another kind of market because it's like more natural. Yeah, I think.
Mm-hmm. So it's more natural. So what do you mean by that? Is it, can you go any day of the week? Is it outside? Is it indoors?
Well, it's outside, and the products are like fresher, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so generally farmers markets mean that they come directly from the people that are growing them. So the people that own the farms, the people that are harvesting the crops, they're the people that actually bring them every week to sell them. So it's more direct to the people that are actually growing the food instead of going to a supermarket and just seeing the label and not knowing who grew them or where they came from. Exactly. Cool. Okay. So have you ever been to a farmer's market?
Yes, I have. Sometimes.
Do they have them in El Salvador, or have you been elsewhere?
No, in El Salvador, yes.
Mm-hmm. So are they only one day of the week? Is it every single day? How do they usually work?
Well, yeah, here is like it's like one or 2 days per week. They open because I imagine that they cannot be bringing food every day as they grow it. Also, yes, it's one or twice per week.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah. So in the U.S., it's really typical for them to be on Sundays. So they're usually every Sunday, usually early in the morning. That's kind of generally what it is, or the weekend, Saturday or Sunday, but generally Sunday. So yeah. Cool. Okay, so I'm glad you're more or less familiar with farmers markets. So I'm going to pull up a few phrases and vocabulary that might be new, but you might know already. So what does it mean to eat local or to eat locally? Do you know?
That you will eat products that were grown in your same area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this is kind of like a movement, right, that happened after everyone became really aware of global warming, right? Because a lot of food, especially in the U.S., I'm only talking about the U.S. because that's all I really know about, but in the U.S., a lot of the food is transported miles and miles from different places, right? So if I'm in Nebraska, I might be buying apples from California and oranges from Florida, from all over. So it takes a lot of carbon and transportation to get food to different places. So it became a movement after global warming. Everyone started realizing what global warming was, to eat locally, so that they have to not only have a better relationship with their food, but also to help lessen the transport of certain foods, because it doesn't make much sense to be buying apples from California if you live in Chicago when you could just buy apples from the farm that is down the street. So that's what it means. So it's kind of like a movement. So yeah, it literally just means to eat what's available to you, but it happened as a response to global warming and trying to lessen the amount of transport that food takes. Also, food is less fresh, if it's been transported for 3 days from another place than if you could just buy it the day after it was harvested. Okay, and then the next one. Do you know what the difference between organically grown produce and non-organically grown produce is?
Maybe. Yes, organically grown produce are those like vegetables or fruits that have been raised or grown without any kind of chemicals or without being exposed to any non-natural product to make them grow better.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, yeah. So organic usually means the lack of pesticides. I'm writing that in. So pesticides, you know what pesticides are?
Yes, yes, I know they are used to repel the bugs from the from what you are growing.
Yeah, exactly. So pest, right? Pesticide. Pests are like bugs, anything that would ruin the fruit. And the suffix side means like to kill, right? So like suicide, to kill. Pesticides. So pest inside means to kill pests. Yeah, so pesticides are like chemicals that they use. And this is generally only what they use in like big farms, right? Because generally if you have a home garden or if you have a smaller farm, you're not going to need to use industrial strength pesticides. But if you're in charge of like acres and acres of land, you need a quicker solution if you have a pest or a bug. And so a lot of bigger farms tend to use pesticides because it's more cost efficient and it's easier for them to get rid of them that way. But then again, you've got chemicals and different stuff on the food that you're putting into your body, and so it's not ideal. So yeah, so recently, it depends. I don't know. In El Salvador, do they offer different options? Like when you go to the grocery store, are there organic foods and non-organic foods, or is that just something in the U.S.?
Well, I haven't realized about that, but I think that, I mean, I just, when I go to buy, I just can find like, well, I don't see any kind of label saying organic food and non-organic food, so I guess here maybe it's just the same.
Yeah, so I mean, here in Buenos Aires they don't distinguish either, so I think it's probably just in the U.S. But in the U.S. they have like whole sections, so they have like the organic section and the not organic section. So sometimes people really care about the difference. Sometimes it's a little bit more expensive to buy organically because, like I said, it's usually cost efficient to use pesticides if you own a big farm, because more natural ways are either slower or more complicated, either take more time or take more money to implement than sort of just spraying everything with a chemical and having the bugs die. So organic food tends to be a little bit more expensive than non-organic food. But yeah, so for example, like here in Buenos Aires in the Argentine like supermarkets, they don't distinguish, but sometimes if there's like products like oils, you know, it'll say like 100% organic, like things like that on different like packages. But then when it comes to fruits and vegetables, there's just like avocado or like different things. They don't say organic or not organic. Yeah. So like I said, this is like going to be really specific to the U.S., like farmers markets in the U.S. Okay, so the next term we have is farm to fork. Have you ever heard the phrase farm to fork? Do you know what that means?
I haven't. I don't know what it means.
Any guess what it would mean? Farm to fork?
Farm to fork? Yeah, I mean, that is, I guess that is when the products are brought directly to your house. No, that goes directly from the farm to your, I don't know, dish or something like that for you to eat it.
Exactly. Yep. So it's pretty easy to figure out what it means just by guessing, because farm to fork, right? Fork, the utensil you use to eat. So it means a more direct relationship between the people that are producing your food and when you're eating it. So it means that you're taking out all of the middlemen, right? People that package it, people that transport the food. Farm to fork is also sort of one of those movements that came about trying to go against the effects of global warming and trying to have people eat locally. And so there's lots of restaurants, there's lots of like universities that really pride themselves on having like a farm to fork philosophy, and that just means that they're trying to cut out the middlemen when it comes to getting their produce or their meat, anything like that. It means that they're dealing directly with the people that are either farming or harvesting the goods. Does that fit? And then the next one is barter. Do you know what it means to barter for something?
Barter? No, I don't know.
To barter. So I'll give you an example, and then maybe you can guess what it means. So if you are selling potatoes, and you're selling potatoes 3 for $1, and I say, I'm making mashed potatoes for a big dinner. How about you give me 10 potatoes for $5?
Oh, okay.
So that's me trying to barter with you. So what does it mean to barter?
So buying more for less price.
Yeah, so sometimes it can be that, and sometimes it can just be trying to get a lower price. So bartering just means kind of like going back and forth, saying like, oh, I'll give you $4. Ah, no, I want 5. Just negotiating a price. So in a lot of sort of like open air markets or farmers markets, bartering is either allowed or encouraged, right? So if they want you to buy more of their product, or if you don't think it's a fair price, right? Those kind of environments are the ones where it's okay to try to barter. Whereas in a supermarket, where there's like the fixed price, you can't really barter the price of an apple. Whereas if you go to a farmer's market and you talk directly to the people that are selling it, they might see an advantage of giving you more for a lesser price to sell more of their goods. So bartering is just the process of negotiating a price, or like the terms of an agreement.
Yes, okay.
Okay. Can you think of an example of bartering? Have you ever had to barter for something? I'm really bad at it.
Yeah, me as well. I mean, I'm really bad doing it, but I have tried a couple times when I'm buying like well, here we buy like strawberries, bananas. So I go to the marketplace and I try to say, hey, how much for? Well, they give me the price and they say, okay, if I take this many, for how much would it be, right? To try to reduce the price, but it's very difficult.
Yeah, so I admire people that barter well, because I'm not very good at it, because I kind of feel bad asking for a lower price. But yeah, so it's a skill. People can be really good at it. People can be really bad at it. But it's really common in farmers markets, especially when you're talking about quantities, like buying in bulk, so buying more of something. But the word barter, here I'll write it, doesn't necessarily mean in bulk. It just means negotiating the terms, right? The terms of a deal. Negotiating the terms of a deal. So that means, right, price, quantity, whether or not it's like delivered. If they offer delivery, you could say, oh, well, I'll take it home myself, and maybe you can sell it to me for a little bit less, right? Any terms of the agreement, negotiating. So just to barter for something.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions? Make sense?
Yes, definitely it makes sense.
Cool. Okay, so that's something that's pretty common in farmers markets, which is a big difference, right, between going to like a supermarket and going to a farmers market like this. Okay. And then the last thing I've got here is seasonal. So what are seasonal products, and what does it mean to say something is in season?
Okay, for instance, I will try to give you an example. You cannot, well, here, at the least here in El Salvador, I don't know, do you know the mango?
Mango?
Yes, the mango. Do you know them? Okay, so you cannot buy.
You mean like the fruit?
Yes, the fruit.
Yeah.
So you cannot buy mangoes, I mean, all year long, because our seasonal products. So depending on the season, you can grow them, and yes, and that's why you're just able to buy it in some times of the year, right?
Exactly right. Yeah. So sometimes people criticize or don't like farmers markets for this reason, because they're only going to have what's in season currently, right? So if you want a mango and it's the middle of winter in the U.S., you're not going to be able to go to a farmers market and buy a mango, because it's a summer fruit, right? So a lot of people prefer supermarkets, right, and going to buy imported goods from other countries where a mango is in season. So an example of that is like, we get a lot of our avocados from Chile, and sometimes like plums from Mexico or Chile, and like we can get them in winter, but even though it's not in season for us, because it's in season for them. And so a lot of people either complain or don't like the lack of variety in farmers markets, when the reality is just that it's the vegetables and fruits that are in season at that time, right? So for example, if you go in the winter, you're really only going to find things like potatoes, onions, root vegetables that grow on the ground, like tomatoes, things that you can grow indoors in greenhouses, but you're not going to find, blueberries or apples, right?
Okay. Yes.
So sometimes people say that's a disadvantage to farmers market, and then the response for all the movements and stuff is that that's how we should be eating, right? We should be aware of what's growing and what's not growing, and then all we have to do is adapt our menus and adapt what we're eating during different times of the year to what's available, which is what people did before we imported all the goods.
Yes.
So, okay, so it makes sense. So do you have any favorite seasonal goods or seasonal traits? For example, one of my favorite things in the autumn in the U.S. is pumpkin pie. So pumpkins and gourds are seasonal in autumn. So there's lots of things like pumpkin spice flavored things and pumpkin pies and gourds and squash, and I really like those. Do you have any favorite seasonal goods?
Yeah, I mean, it would be like, well, I love strawberries and mangoes that are not easy to get here along the year, so that will be maybe my two favorite ones, seasonal products. Yes.
Cool. Awesome. I'm trying to think what else I like. And then blueberries are seasonal in the spring in the U.S., so blueberries are really hard to get unless they're in season. And then avocados. If we get avocados that are from the U.S., they're going to be from California, and it's going to be in the summer. So yeah, cool. Okay, so now we're going to read a quick little dialogue about bartering. So I can be one, and you can be the other. So I'll be the one in this one. I'll be the person selling the goods.
Okay, nice.
Okay.
Okay, so do I start?
Yeah, this is you.
Okay, so hi, good morning.
Good morning to you too. Could I interest you in some apples?
Yes, please. What kind do you have?
This week we've got Granny Smith and Gala apples, fresh picked from the orchard.
Okay, how much for a pound?
$4 a pound. If you buy more, I can lower that for you.
We're thinking about making a couple of pies. How about 2 pounds for $4?
That's a little low. How about 6 for the 2?
5 and you have a deal.
Sounds good to me. Here are your apples. Enjoy those pies.
Great, thanks.
Awesome. Okay. Any new vocabulary words? Anything that's new in this dialogue?
Yeah, I mean, will be like this one that says fresh picked from the
Orchard.
Orchard, yes.
Yeah, orchard. So an orchard is kind of like a farm, but for things that grow on trees. So you have an apple orchard. It's basically an apple farm, but you don't call it an apple farm, you call it an orchard. So it's whatever is harvested from trees is an orchard.
Okay.
So I don't know if there's a brand of cider. It's called Angry Orchard, and it's like got a little picture of trees and a farm. Orchard just means a farm, yeah, a farm with trees, so apples basically. Any other words? Do you know what these different kinds of apples are? Granny Smith and Gala.
Granny Smith apples. Yeah, I mean, well, I here I just have heard about the Gala apples, but I didn't know the owner Granny Smith.
Yeah, so Gala apples are like these, right? Like they're kind of orangish, reddish.
Yes.
Granny Smith are green, like bright green. And they're a little bit
green
more,
ones.
yeah, exactly. Cool. Okay. Any other questions, or are y'all good?
I have no questions.
No questions? Okay, cool. Okay, so what we're going to do now is look quickly at a bunch of different kinds of fruits and vegetables, and I want you to tell me if you've tried them, if you are familiar with them, because there's going to be a lot. So I really like these because they're ordered by color. Okay. So there's going to be 5 little slides of like a bunch of blue vegetables, a bunch of yellow vegetables, and they're all going to be things that you can easily find in the U.S. So we're going to just read through them and then tell me if any of them are new or look strange or if you haven't tried them, anything like that. So give me 1 second. We're going to start with blue and purple. Here are some blue and purple fruits and vegetables. You want to just read through them?
Okay. Blackberries, blueberries, black currants, elderberries.
Elderberries, yeah.
Elderberries, okay, figs, purple grapes, plums, prawns, raisins, prunes, raisins, purple asparagus, purple cabbage, eggplant, purple carrots, purple pepper, purple potatoes.
Kind of like a tongue twister, yeah.
Yeah, and purple kohlrabi. Yeah.
Kohlrabi. Cool. Okay, so are any of these familiar or unfamiliar? Have you tried all of these?
Well, yeah, I mean, I have. Well, I have tried many of them, but there are some that I didn't know that even exist.
Yeah, like
For
which ones?
instance, was the very first time I heard about purple potatoes, for instance.
Really? Purple potatoes, they're just like a variant of potatoes. For some reason, they're really popular in Peru. I don't know if you've ever been to Peru, but like they're all about purple potatoes. They're in everything. They just taste like normal potatoes. They're just purple.
Yeah,
Same thing with carrots. Yeah, the purple carrots. They're just variants because potatoes and carrots actually grow in lots of different colors. There's no reason that orange carrots and like white potatoes are the most common. But yeah.
Okay, yes, but I mean, and also it's the very first time I see purple carrots as well.
Purple carrots, yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else? Have you had all of these? Are there anything new?
No, well, the only new that were for me were the purple carrots and the purple potatoes. Yes.
Cool. Okay. So what are raisins? Do you know what they are? They're dried versions of what?
Yeah, raisins. Yes. Oh, sorry. I close this. Okay. Raisins is like when you have a grape and you let it just to dry it.
Exactly. Good. Yeah. So raisins are just dried grapes. And then what about prunes? What are prunes?
Prunes is like, well, I'm not sure how to describe it. But
yeah. So prunes are dried plums, right? So raisins are dried grapes and prunes are dried plums. Yep. So they all have the same color. Okay, cool. Okay, I'll read through the next one. So these are green fruits and vegetables. Nice. So we've got avocado, green apples, green grapes, honeydew melon, kiwi, limes, green pears, artichokes, arugula, asparagus, broccoli rabe, Brussels sprouts, Napa cabbage, green beans, normal cabbage, celery, cucumber, Belgian endive, and kale. So how about these? Any new ones? Any ones you really like? Any ones you've tried?
Oh yeah, I mean, I have tried many of them. The avocado, green apples, green grapes, kiwi, limes, green pears, broccoli, asparagus. I mean, most of them I have tried. My favorite, okay, would be like, well, I like a lot the green apples as well. Maybe and the avocado as well. I like.
I love avocados. Me too.
Yes.
Have you ever had Have you ever had Brussels sprouts?
No, I think I haven't.
Have you heard of them? Have you seen them before?
Yes, I have seen them, but I have never tried. I think I don't remember, but I think I have never tried them.
So they are one of my favorite vegetables, and I have yet to find them here in Buenos Aires, and I'm very sad. They grow in a really funny way. I'm going to try to find a picture. They're really small, so they're like this small, but they look like little cabbages, and they grow on a stalk. Here, I'm going to show you a picture. Here they grow like this. I'm going to share my... This is how they grow.
Oh, wow.
They grow on stalks like that. And they're really tiny, and so you eat them all at once. Yeah. See, they grow like this.
Yeah, I mean...
They're my favorite, but I don't think they have them here. Anyway. Yeah, so those are Brussels sprouts. Let's see what else was on here. Were there any new words on the green version of fruits and vegetables?
Well, yeah, this one. Well, the one I didn't know because I haven't eat it. I haven't. No, I haven't
Eaten?
eat. Yeah, I haven't eaten. Yes, I haven't eaten
Mhm.
Brussels sprouts, but I have heard about it before. But the one I have never heard about before is the Belgian endive.
Belgian endive, yeah.
I,
Belgian endive.
that's not really common here. I mean, I have never heard about that, or at least with this name, I have never heard it here.
Mhm. So it's another sort of leaf vegetable. So it's kind of like, like kale or cabbage, right? You can kind of see that it's got like leaves that you can take off. So it's kind of just a variant, right, of cabbage or kale or broccoli. But
Okay.
yeah. It's not super common either, but it's definitely one that you will find in the grocery stores. Yeah. Any other new ones?
Mm, right.
If not, we can move on to another color.
No, I mean, yes, I mean, that was the only one unknown for me.
Okay. So now we're going to do orange. Can you read through these ones?
Okay. Apricots, cantaloupe,
Cantaloupe.
Yep. Cantaloupe, mango, nectarines, orange, papaya, peaches, persimmons, tangerines, butternut squash, carrots, pumpkin, sweet potatoes, orange peppers, orange tomatoes, watermelon.
Okay, so any new ones here? Do you know what persimmons are?
Yeah, well, actually, I was going to say that one because that's not common here. I think. I
No?
guess.
Yeah, super. Yeah, I don't think they're definitely regional. I've only really had them. One of my friends had a persimmon tree when I lived in California. So they're strange. They're not very tasty, but you can make like jam out of them, like jam or jelly. Do you know what jam or jelly is?
Kind of. I mean, the kind of gel that comes in a treat with bread.
Yeah, that you like put on toast or
Yes.
crackers. Yeah, like so you just like boil it with sugar, basically until it like reduces. Yeah, so that's what they're basically good for. But yeah, so they're seasonal in autumn, and they're really good. Yeah, those are persimmons. Anything else that's new?
Well, well, the it's, well, sweet potatoes. I mean, I just guess there is another brand of potato, another type of potato, but I mean, yes, I have never heard about. I mean, we don't call it here like sweet potatoes. Yes.
Yeah, what is it in Spanish? Actually, let me check. Yeah, but see, have you had sweet potatoes though? They're orange inside. They have a completely different flavor than normal potatoes. Okay.
Yes.
I think. Wait, one second. I'm trying to see what they are. Batatas, right? With a B, B-A-T-A-T-A-S. Yeah, so they're technically potatoes, but they're completely different. They have a very different taste. Whereas
Okay.
potatoes are sort of potatoes don't really have a taste, right? They're just sort of starchy, and if you put them with butter or fry them, they're good. But sweet potatoes definitely have a distinct taste.
Okay.
Yeah. So then, what's your favorite orange fruit?
Well, my favorite ones are for sure mango. I also like oranges, tangerines, and the peaches as well. Yes.
Awesome. Good choices. Yeah, so one of my favorites is butternut squash. So this is one of the ones that is really seasonal in the autumn or the fall in the US. It's one of my favorites. And yeah, I like all the fruits. I basically like all fruit, so I don't really have a favorite. Awesome. Okay, so now red. So I'll read through these. So we've got red apples, blood oranges, cherries, cranberries, red grapes, pink or red grapefruit, red pears, pomegranate, raspberries, strawberries, watermelon, red beets, red peppers, red cabbage, radishes, radicho, red onions, red potatoes, rhubarb, and tomatoes. So what about this? Any new things? This radicho is it's like a genetic hybrid between radishes and cabbage.
Okay.
And it's weird.
Yes, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, radicchio, I didn't know about it, but the other ones, well, also this one, the rhubarb.
Rhubarb. So it's a lot like kale, like it's the stalk. So have you ever heard of like strawberry rhubarb pie? So it's commonly like combined with strawberries for flavor. It gives like kind of a, I don't know how to explain the flavor, like a bitter but bitter in a good way flavor to strawberry. So for example, strawberry rhubarb jam is really popular. Strawberry rhubarb pies are really popular. It's commonly paired with like a sweet fruit and just sort of like gives it a little bit more depth of flavor.
Okay.
So yeah, that's a rhubarb.
Yeah, I mean,
Anything else?
no, just those ones. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The other
Do you
ones
know
I
what,
have.
sorry. Do you know what cranberries are? Have you ever had cranberries?
Oh, well, yeah, and I have. Well, I have like I have tasted, but in a kind of juice or tea that it's very common here. They sell it. Yes.
The cranberry juice?
Yes.
Like Ocean Spray? No, it's that
What
brand.
about?
It's a brand of cranberry juice, Ocean Spray. Um, because, like, for example, here, like, they don't even have a word for cranberry here. Like, there's no way for me to explain it to anyone here what a cranberry is. And Chile either, because when I was in Chile, we tried to make Thanksgiving dinner. And so, like, a really common thing in Thanksgiving, right, is to get a turkey with cranberry sauce. And so, for the life of us, we could not find cranberries, nor even find a word where people would understand what we were trying to say with cranberries, because they just do not grow, apparently, this far south. Yeah, so like I don't know. There was like no word. There was no word for it. So that's why I was curious if you've tried it. It's really popular around Thanksgiving. It's in autumn. It's in season during autumn, and it's really bitter. Really bitter, unless that's why a lot of cranberry juice has lots of sugar added.
Oh yes.
By itself, it's very bitter.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other new ones for the red ones? Do you have a favorite red fruit or vegetable?
Well, yeah. I mean, I like the red apples for sure. Also the strawberries, the raspberries. I like them a lot.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Me too. I guess I would say pomegranate. I really like pomegranates. And blood oranges are crazy. Yeah, cool. Okay, so that's all. Those are all the different vocabulary for fruits and vegetables. So now we're going to watch a video about people talking about why they like farmers markets so much versus going to the supermarket and things like that. So I already put the link in the chat, but I'm going to play it through the YouTube app, which I assume you already have, right?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so let me do this. And then, so I'm going to pull up this slide because afterwards, pay attention because afterwards we're going to answer some questions about what they say in the video. So how are people's relationships different? What do they say? How is it good for the economy? Things like that. Okay, so 1 second. Let me know.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to listen one more time, and then we're going to talk about it. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Any questions? Any words? Any trouble understanding them?
Well, no, I haven't had. Well, I have no words. I think everything is clear. I'm just I just wrote down some new ones that I have never heard before, but I think I understand it. For instance, flavorful was like, okay, it's a nice way, I mean, to say, to indicate that the flavor is better, of course. So
Flavorful.
yeah, I've never, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah. Yep. It's flavorful. Anything else?
No, just that one.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah. So he says that the food is much more flavorful, right? So that can sometimes be a result of having like organic produce or produce that was freshly picked based compared to buying something that's been like sitting in a grocery store for a week. Exactly. Okay. So let's look at the question. Okay, so based on what they said in the video, how are people's relationships different at the farmer's market? What do they say about each other?
What do they say about each other? Well, they say that in that way you're able to know the people who's growing up what where you are going to eat. So it like gives you more confidence. Also, you're able to support the local economy of the place.
Nice. So that's the next question. Yeah. So yes, people's relationships, right? Yeah. So they said that it's more direct. So there was one man who was a farmer, and he was saying one of my favorite things about being a farmer is hearing people tell me, right, like that was the best tomato I've ever had, that was the best potato, like your food is really good. So for the farmers, he was saying that they get to hear their feedback directly, right, from the people that are eating their products, and then that the people that are buying the food get to talk to them, get to see the people that have been growing and harvesting the crops that they're going to be eating. So yeah, so it's a more direct relationship. Okay. So it seems to be something that all of the people thought was something really positive. Good. And then the second question, how are they good for the economy?
Oh, yeah, it makes improve the local economy because everybody is expanding practically on people that they know that live in the same area of them, so they're helping to improve the local economy.
Exactly. They're helping the local economy, and so they're making sure that, for example, like smaller scale farmers that work locally don't go out of business when it comes to comparing them to bigger like factory farms, right? So it's really important to support a local economy because otherwise these smaller guys would be totally washed out by the big commercial farmers, right, that have a big commercial farm in California and then send all of their products all over the states. Instead, it strengthens the local economy to go to the farmer's market instead and buy the stuff that's locally grown. Exactly. Good. Okay, and then, so what did you think about the video? Do you think, did you like it?
Yes, I like it because I mean, it gives a really good message about the importance or that is to have to support this kind of farmers market, to support those guys that are putting the best of them to grow up better products and local products. So you can ensure that you know the people is growing up where you're going to eat. Also, you can give direct feedback to them, and also you can ensure, or that will give you more confidence, that the things that you're eating are like fresher and also flavorful and more natural than the others that you're just going to buy in your supermarket.
Awesome. Yeah, good. Nice. So there's the one woman that said, yeah, like it's better for me because I know that the dollar I'm paying for the food is going directly to the people that are making the food, right? Yeah. So when you buy something in the supermarket, part of your dollar is going to the guy who drove the truck with all the food, right? Part of your dollar is going to the person who packaged it all up, right? So it's different knowing that your money is going straight to the people that are actually doing all the hard work to make it. Okay. I'm glad you liked it. Okay, so can you think of any pros or cons? Do you think of a bad thing? What's a bad thing about a farmer's market? What's the reason do you think why people don't go?
Well, when the people don't go, it depends about each. Well, there are different. I guess there are different kind of farmer markets, but sometimes the people have the wrong idea about them. That, for instance, like there are like open doors or without no roof. Sometimes I think that there are no roof, so they think that the salubrity conditions are not so good or are not at the same that they could find in a kind of more controlled environment, for instance, inside a supermarket with air conditioning, and so they have the wrong idea that, for instance, the farmers market is like has less. The conditions are not so good.
Like sanitation, like less.
Yeah, sanitation. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Like less clean somehow. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, exactly.
Yes.
It's a valid argument too, right? Because like some people would rather go and see like refrigerated cases of food versus seeing like all of the food out, right? There might be flies just like out in the open. For a lot of people that might be something bad, a disadvantage. Exactly. Good. Can you think of anything else? What about people that are really busy? So farmers markets typically are things that only happen Sunday mornings. So what would be another con?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, I think that another disadvantage, I think, is they're just open Sunday mornings. I mean, Sunday mornings usually is when the people, usually people don't work on the Sunday morning, so they have time to go there. But, that's a good point. But also the other point, I mean, the other supermarkets are open 24/7, so on the week, so not necessarily 24/7, but they're open all the days of the week.
It depends. Yeah, it depends where, but like generally, there's always a 24-hour super. I mean, every town I've ever lived in, and I've lived in like 15 different towns in the U.S., and they've all had a 24-hour supermarket. So there's usually somewhere you can go. Yeah, no, but that's a big thing. It also has to do a lot with planning, right? So if you're the kind of person that buys your groceries for the week, it's totally fine. You can go on Sunday, get everything you need. But if you don't plan out your whole week, or if you're not the kind of person that buys like in bulk, and then plans everything for the week, it's obviously not going to be very practical for you to go once on Sunday, and then when you don't have any more food on Wednesday, what are you going to do? Right? So there's a lot of different lifestyles that people have that don't really match up with being able to like really frequent a farmer's market and take advantage of it.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so now we're going to read a little reading about someone's experience in the farmer's market. And I've got in orange some different words that you might or might not know. So we're going to discuss them after you read. So could you go ahead and read the first paragraph?
Okay. Once a week, first the title, right? Let's read every Sunday. Yeah. Okay. Once a week, my whole family goes to the farmer's market together. They have a big market every Sunday, and we go and buy the fruits and vegetables for the week. Some stands also offer prepared goods, like homemade jams and jelly, fresh baked loaves of bread, and different canned and picked and pickled goods that aren't currently canned and pickled goods that aren't currently in season. One time we tried jalapeno chili. It sure was spicy, and I don't think my dad will buy it again. But we love trying new things. Today he wants to buy burger branch bread, which is a loaf with dry fruits like cranberries and blueberries inside.
Okay. Yeah, you can go ahead and read the second paragraph.
Okay. So we get up early to get the best pick of goodies from the market. Then afterwards, we always come home and have a big family brunch. It usually consists of farm fresh eggs, a big fruit salad with strawberries and bananas, and I think today we will make French toast with the new bread. Farmers market sure make every Sunday special.
Good. Okay. So, aside from the words in orange, any new words, any new vocabulary, anything you're not sure of what it means?
Well, yeah, I mean, for instance, when they say some stands also offer prepared goods, I'm not sure about what does stand means.
What a stand? So what do you think? So if let's say there's a stand that's selling kale and cabbage, and there's another stand selling jams, and there's another stand selling apples. What does it mean to be a stand?
Well, so I imagine like kind of, I don't know, like a kind of table or container having a group of just one thing. I mean, so you can have a stand full of apples, another stand full of grapes and so on, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly, yeah. So they're just sort of little divisions between the different farmers or the different sellers. So a stand is really a loose term. It can mean anything. So it generally means like a shelter. So something that they have like a little roof over their head, little like bins of the different things they're selling. Stand. So you can say like, if you say like a newsstand, right? Like a kiosk is like a newsstand. It kind of like sets up. Stand kind of just means that it's like a mobile place to sell things, right? So like if I say, like I went to go to the supermarket earlier and there was a little stand selling plants, right? So stand kind of just means that it's able to move around. So when it's a farmer's market, they're all going to be stands, right? Because it's only once a week, so they have to be able to put them up when they want to and take them down when they're done. So stand. Okay.
Nice.
And any other words?
What about canned and pickled goods?
Yeah, canned and pickled. Canned. So what do you think it means when something is canned?
That it is inside of a can. I mean, like enclosed can, yes.
Mm-hmm,
but
that's canned.
Yeah, but about the pickled, I'm not sure about the pickled.
Pickled? Do you know what a pickle is? Just a pickle?
I'm not sure.
No. So a pickle is a cucumber that's been like soaked. I think it's vinegar, and other things. Have you ever had a pickle? Sometimes you have them with hot dogs. Sometimes they give them to you with other sorts of fast food. They come in a jar, and there's like juice, and there's pickles.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. But it's also a verb. So to pickle something, I think it means vinegar. Let me double check. But to pickle something is a way of preserving it. So to can or to pickle something is like a strategy, right, to do if you have, so fermentation in brine or vinegar. That's what it means to pickle, technically. So, for example, if I have, I have a lot of peaches, right? So the harvest was huge, and so I have so many peaches. I could choose to can some of those peaches so that when the peaches aren't in season, I'll still be able to enjoy them. Right? So to can them means that I can preserve them in some way so that they'll be available for me later on. Right? Not fresh, but I'll still have them later on. So it's a strategy to make harvests last longer, and it's what enables us to have access to foods that aren't currently in season.
Okay.
So you can pickle anything. You can pickle weird things, but cucumbers are like what pickles are. Like pickles are pickled cucumbers in jars.
Okay.
But in the process of canning and pickling just means you're sealing it, but sealing it for later use.
Yes. Okay.
Cool. And then so I also had, let's see, I also had in orange jams and jellies because that's the same idea, right? Things that you take from one season and do some sort of thing to them, process them, soak them in something, cook them some way so that you can have access to them later, right? So if you have a lot of strawberries, you can make strawberry jam and have jars of strawberry jam for the whole year, right, depending on how many you have. But it's a way to make sure they last longer than just the season that they're seasonal.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Okay, any other new words?
Well, it would be the...
Do you know what brunch is?
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to figure out that one right now, but I don't exactly know. I don't know exactly what does brunch means.
So here, I'm going to try to do something and see if you can figure out. So brunch, so it's a meal, right? So for technically, when we have meals, we've got breakfast, lunch, and dinner, right? So brunch. Does it look familiar for any of those words? Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Brunch.
Definitely to lunch.
So brunch is a silly combination of the words breakfast and lunch.
Oh, nice.
So brunch has become really popular. It's usually like a Sunday thing, so like Sunday brunch, right? It's kind of a meal that you have anywhere between like 11 a.m. to like 2 or 3 p.m., right? And brunch can be anything. So you can have lunch food and breakfast food. So like big brunches have like pancakes, eggs, but they could also have like salmon or more like hearty brunch, or sorry, more hearty lunch food. So it's a whole big spread, and it's like the combination of breakfast and lunch. So you have one big meal instead of having an earlier meal and a later meal. And it's typically done on Sundays. It's kind of like a weekend thing. So sometimes people have brunch and have like coffee or orange juice and like a big meal.
Okay.
Have you ever had brunch?
Yes, I have many times, definitely.
Cool. Yeah, so a lot of restaurants have like specials for brunch. It's like a really trendy thing. Even here in Argentina, they use the word brunch. Like there's no Spanish word for it. They have like restaurants that offer brunch, and it's mostly catered to the gringos. But it's like it's a thing here. A lot of people have brunch. Yeah. Okay. Any other words that I knew?
Well, no, just those ones.
Okay. What about farm fresh eggs? What does that mean?
Well, that is when you get the eggs directly from the farm. I mean, so you consider it fresher than the others that are at the markets.
Yeah, so farm fresh eggs tend to be, so they're fresh, obviously, and they tend to be like brown or maybe like smaller or irregular in size. So a lot of people that go to the supermarkets and are used to buying like the bright white bleached eggs, right, that are like all the same size, sometimes are a little put off if they buy something labeled farm fresh eggs because they might be different colors, right, brown or like speckled and smaller in size, and they're usually more yellow. So the yolks, right, so when you talk about eggs, you have the egg yolks, which is the yellow thing in the middle, and then the egg white, which is on the white side, right? With farm fresh eggs, egg yolks tend to be much brighter in color and really yellow. That's just a fun fact. Yeah. Okay. And then let's see what else. What's French toast? Do you know what French toast is?
Yeah, it's like it's bread that is like square shaped, or it's a square shape. So and cut it on like thin slices, right?
So French toast is what you make when you take a loaf of bread and you coat it in egg. So you like mix up egg and like vanilla extracts, like a little bit of water or milk, and then you coat it and then you fry it.
Okay.
Yeah, French toast. So it's like egg covered bread.
Okay.
Have you ever had French toast?
Yes, definitely are so good.
Yeah? Awesome. Yeah,
yes.
Cool. Okay, so then there's one other thing I want to talk about, in this reading, and then we'll stop. So I also put in orange dried fruits, right? Because this was this paragraph, the aim, right, was to talk about ways to preserve food. So another way to preserve food that's not in season, right, is obviously to dry it. So dried fruits and nuts, right, like almonds, dried cranberries, dried blueberries, dried apricots, all different ways to take things that aren't in season and to make them available at other times. Okay,
Yes.
so we've got jams and jelly, canned and pickled fruits, and dried fruits. Okay, anything else? Any other questions, comments, anything from this reading?
Well, no, actually, I don't have any doubts. I mean, everything is clear.
Perfect.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, good. Okay, so then anything so far in this class? Since we're almost out of time, any questions at all? Any doubts about farmers markets? Any questions about bartering? Any questions about the video we watched? Anything at all?
Well, I think that, I mean, everything is clear. I mean, I got it. Yes.
Have you learned anything new about farmers markets? Do you think they're important? Do you think they're a good idea? Do you think they're a bad idea? What's your opinion?
No, definitely. Well, definitely, I like them. I mean, I think it's a really good idea, and also to support people that, because you know that the money is going directly to them instead of because when you're buying at a large kind of markets chain, yes, so you cannot you buy there, but you don't know exactly where the money is going to. So this is a better way to ensure that the people that is raising the things also will get the money. And yeah, I think it's a healthier way to well, you will be able to eat healthier if you go to the farmers market, because it has better chemics, preservatives, and pesticides, and all those things.
Awesome. Great. Okay, I'm glad you learned a lot in this class. So thank you so much for coming. So my next class is going to be tomorrow at 6 p.m. And then I've got another one at 9. So the one at 6 is about years and numbers, tricky numbers, decimal points, how to pronounce years, stuff like that. And then at 9, it's called Crime in the City. So we're going to go over all the different kinds of crime, bribery, arson, theft, heists, all the different words, because there's a lot of them, to talk about different kinds of crime. So those are my next 2 classes, and thank you so much for coming to this one.
Okay, take care and have a good day.
Okay, you too.